gone, Kevin.
Has it?
Wow.
So that's the only comment I get today, that's good.
A little discrepancy on that option that he identified too. I'll talk to Ryan about it. Just, can you guys help me remember? With the HSA plan, we approved or we're going to proceed with the employee 50% being tied directly to the actual plan cost, right?
Yes, for HSA, correct.
The county's using a higher number than what is
Yes.
actually the plan cost
Correct.
to fund the contribution, but the employee, okay, because
The
that was
employee-
not reflected that way.
The
and that was-
employee pays.
So I just,
the actual
before I
cost.
responded to him, I wanted to make sure that, okay, thank you.
Next up on the docket, discuss the relocation of World War One mine off the window here. Jail.
Can we put an equal distance from that other monument, just so it lays out over in that corner?
So there's enough room, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think we
Top of
could.
each other. And there's only one business in the county that has the equipment to move this stuff, and I would like to see this stay in county, but I did talk to Raveling about moving that. They relocated a monument up in Worthington last year as well. I think it would be cheaper than using the people doing the jail program
Oh,
to relocate that. And I think you'd get a little more care taken with it, using the local for that, but
So would they take care of cementing out where the monument
that's
goes?
what we want them to do. Yeah.
They would do all of that then?
So if you want that, then just, I need to get a location as to where it's going so they can figure out a cost to move it from there to there. And
It's not, oh, sorry.
they asked if it was okay if they had the crane on the ground over here, and if it was gonna be an issue if they tore up the grass. And I'm like, well, probably not, because it's all getting paved over with the building anyway. Rather than trying to make them pluck that off from sitting out in the street.
You were thinking moving it where? To the east side?
You want to keep it far enough apart so it has enough room.
Yeah, so you got enough room in between the other one that's over there.
If you look at Beacon, they are kind of even north to south currently. But with the design of the jail, I think you could move it further south enough and stay off that arched sidewalk, but then you'd lose your equidistant with the east side, but you'd be moving at a shorter distance. I would guess that would be more cost effective, but I don't know.
The biggest cost is going to be just to pick it up. Moving it, I don't think would be that big a.
Because evidently that was installed in 1919.
Yeah,
So
probably.
it's old. Buffy looked it up for us. And it's going to require a little TLC to pluck that out of there. But we can just have a consensus on where we at.
Let me pull that one out. What's that?
They might be able to set up one time and move it from here to wherever we need to move it.
Well, if we're going from here over
Yeah.
here, they're gonna have,
No.
you just pull it between the sidewalk and what
Yeah.
the existing structure. But
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad either.
as far as layout of all of them overall, I do think the east side probably would be a nicer appearance. But cost savings, staying on the west might be, I thought was worth considering. I don't know which.
I don't know if there's a whole lot of cost difference because it's such a short, it's basically getting them here.
The time, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not that far to go. It probably take less than 10 minutes to drive around the block. And
Then that way we'd have everything together over there.
You guys weren't thinking of connecting sidewalks from the monuments, right?
Haven't talked
you
about
just have to
that.
have a sidewalk to that monument.
Because we don't know on this one, do we? No.
Or maybe we don't need a sidewalk to it. There's no sidewalk out there.
this art.
There is one?
According to
Okay.
this,
I don't know if the south one does.
No, the south one doesn't, I don't think.
No, not the,
No,
And I don't know if those benches were added at a later date.
I think so. I think those were added since I've been here, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, someone gave them as a memorial or,
I think they can pick those up at just a forklift or telehandler. You want to basically have the same footprint of cement on the, wherever it gets relocated at.
probably.
I mean, of course, I never seen that out this window, but you'd be surprised, especially in the summertime, how many people look at the monument on the east side.
Because your biggest cost is a mobilization fee to get a crane here from a long distance, and that was the biggest one in mind. To have it to us to get it done the cheapest. Otherwise, like the next nearest one is in Worthington, and you'd have to hire out a county or not a state for that. Thoughts?
Do what you have to do.
Some way to get more community input on where, but without seeing the jail footprint, it's gonna be hard to identify or.
I don't think you'd want it on that side of the building with the jail there.
The only other, I guess, thought concerning it would be as if, especially if we don't demolish the old house, driving in and driving out is gonna become more problematic in parking. So then you need that green space to the east side to possibly put some,
Parking.
or a loop or,
I'm afraid we're gonna have to have a loop, because I'm afraid if we don't, we're gonna have people backing into the courthouse, because we have
Yeah.
people backing into that mailbox and the bench out there. It's surprising.
Well, when the jail guy was here, he said they could just move over and cement more of that out next to that house to make the loop out without having to relocate it.
I just feel we need a loop.
And you could put up those concrete pillars by the courthouse too. That they hit that before the building.
We should put some of those up around the mailbox
In the bench.
and the bench.
So you're making them here,
Yeah. And it'd be far enough away in from the street that if you needed to reclaim some of that for parking.
Yeah.
That's not a real big footprint on that.
Well, it doesn't help the public, but John said that we would still have parking out here.
Yep.
And then that the courthouse employees would have a key fob, so we can walk through that garage.
I thought he talked about leaving it open so the public could walk through there.
Oh, maybe that's what last time he said key fobs or whatever, so that maybe he will leave it open.
There's gonna be a door on it.
A door but we could walk through, but I don't know about the public.
Yeah.
That I didn't know about. But, I mean, that's something you guys can discuss later date. It's not like it's just court days is when we have parking issues. I think they need to come, whoever's gonna come and maybe draw where it's gonna be, and then you guys can look at it and make sure that's what you want, or I don't know, it's just my input.
see where it's gotta go.
Do we need to get bids? Just to have comparisons or?
Yeah, you get bids, but like I said, you're gonna have to go out of state to get them.
This is the final DOT.
Okay, all right.
Ed needs to
What's the bid threshold that we have to bid for a dollar amount?
That one never sticks in my head. I don't remember.
6,000. We got claims.
No.
Oh, I thought it was more like 75 or went to 125 or something like
So
that.
where are we at now?
We're at the monument.
Keith might remember.
What's the bid threshold for you to bid stuff out?
Before you have to do hard bids, it changes every year, I think, with inflation. So I don't know the number.
I thought it was.
25,000-ish? Somewhere in that range? Does that sound familiar?
I think you're right on that. It
What did
changes.
you say?
125?
125?
Somewhere in that range.
I thought like David Noble, I thought it was like $5,000 or $10,000. If it was under that, we didn't have to, I mean, public bid, it's 125, right?
But quotes you're talking?
Yeah.
Well,
just
that's a
for
level
bids.
that you have to get competitive
Right.
bids, right?
Competitive bid, go through the competitive bid
But
process.
he probably talks about a practice of having
Yeah, like 5,000 or less, because it's hard
competitive
to,
bids. I don't remember what he calls them, but
no,
yeah.
just because you can't, it's
That's
hard to
in-
find people.
That's in the 10,000 range. Maybe it's 8,000, but 10,000 sounds about right.
Sometimes it's hard to get bids for anything under 2,500 or,
It'd be good to keep moving on this and having that out of the way
The
of
sooner we
that
can get
project
that, it's gotta
started.
be out of there, I think, by September when they award bids for starting construction. So the sooner we can get it out of there, probably the better.
It might surprise you there.
I don't think it'll surprise me. Nothing's cheap.
Well, that's what I thought maybe you knew something I didn't know.
Was that a line item in his estimate addressing that, or that's a separate?
Yeah,
He does
he-
have that covered in
yeah,
there.
he
Or he thought it'd
does.
come from
He's gonna bid
contingencies,
that out.
wasn't it?
yeah, but if we take that out of there and then that would help too. Because I talked to him about that, right? We talked to him about, and he said he had it in there, but if we take care of it, then that will come out of that monies. Or help use if we tear down the old house or whatever we decide to do.
That's a nice picture.
Get more in.
I know, they haven't gotten back to me on the price of a new computer. Emailed them yesterday again.
Lori's just pumped out $1,000.
Would you take a motion to table this for further
It wasn't a
consideration?
votable thing, it was just getting information, so I can
Wow.
get more information. It was just to discuss what we wanted to do with it, unless you want to vote.
Transfer.
Moving on, we will move to the approval of resolution 26, transfer from general basic to the EMS levy.
That's what you guys approved in the budget amendment, so I just need to transfer money so she can pay bills.
Okay, is that one in here?
Yeah,
I would take a motion
I'll
on
make that
resolution
motion to
26.
approve resolution 26, 2024.
Where's that?
Mr. Helmers.
Aye.
Mr. Manley.
Aye.
Mr. Moore. New office repair update.
they're working down there. They've been here a couple days. I think they're almost done with the clerk's office upstairs. They're working on there. Did you want to discuss what your thoughts were about it, or?
If we could find a different place for storage, just to leave that open, not put that little notch in there for storage. Cause they were gonna enclose, what was it? That safe,
And close all that.
yeah. Cause then you'd have a spot here, a little room over here, then you have to come walking between it. I just thought it looks nice with it wide open, which would make it a very big office.
Yeah, because were you thinking then leaving that open, or were you thinking of making Buffy's office that much bigger, or?
Just leave the office that much bigger,
So we just make her office all the way
the way it is right now.
Okay,
Just leave the lunchroom in one corner.
yeah,
But that was just a thought.
so just expand her office all the way to the wall where the vault's at. Is that where you're talking about? Instead of cutting it off, just expand it all the way to,
Is storage at a premium around here?
yeah, it is.
We need storage too.
It is. I mean, we got the shed and, we can bring stuff there. I just can't bring my voting equipment out there. Because it's not in has to be a locked, secure place and it has to be climate controlled, so. I was just trying to get rid of that stuff, old stuff in the corner and try to hide that somewhere so it looks
We can do it. I don't
presentative.
care. I just-
Yeah, I don't care
I
either.
was just thinking about that.
Yep. Whatever the board decides, I don't really care at this point. Just wish it was done. Long ago.
I'd leave the plans in like they were, have a.
Story shed.
That's my opinion.
We're short on space.
Okay.
Any other comments on that?
The only changes I did are in the pink, and that was for the jail and public safety. I changed it to the percent that was discussed for union negotiations. I have a little bit higher than what you guys are gonna offer, just
Pink
because,
front tab,
yeah,
pink side tab.
side tap, the jail. And then we changed the insurance that was discussed. I also got a new public safety one in the very last tab too. Kevin gave me that upgraded as well. Yeah, so insurance, wages, FICA and IPERS I changed. If I could reduce it a little more, if they decide to go with a little bit lower wage.
What did you guys end up doing?
Everybody and, there's an hour.
And I think I projected they still have $1 million fund balance, so,
Yeah.
I mean, they're fine. And Kevin never spends all of his expenditures anyway, so they probably can go up from there, so. They had to have that's gonna be in the paper this week.
At the beginning, we had 1.2 something.
Mm-hmm. I can go look to see, I guess. I'll get that.
Overflow.
Be nice if we could use it. Doesn't the jail have a separate fund for just like building repairs or something like that?
I think those repairs just get worked into the budget.
Yeah, it's $1,076,000 is what I have projected ending fund balance of fiscal year '25.
The jail, do they have a separate little savings for building repairs, that kind of stuff?
Out in the general fund, well, jail stay, but that's getting less and less because they don't have to, the prisoners don't have to pay as much, right? They changed that
You
law
can't
or
make them
something,
pay.
can't make them pay or something, so that jail stay is getting less and less. I think last year maybe it was 100,000 maybe, 70,000, I don't remember offhand. I mean, it's getting less and less every year, so,
But we can use it and then it's gone.
and it's gone. So those, so the fund balance sheet, I mean, that's, I have it in there, then, the general supplemental is at $1. And I made a copy of what the scenarios that I came up with. This sheet here, I think I sent out to you. That if we reduce the general supplemental levy 90 cents, it would be like 66,638 less. So the ending fund balance for general would be 1,707,105 instead of the 1,773. If we reduce it 85 cents, then we're 99,957 we would have to transfer into the general basic fund, or the general supplemental fund. Or reduce it 80 cents, then we would have to 133,275. We'll get a general fund balance of 1,640,000. There are some laws, general election laws, that if they come through, I'm going to have to order envelopes. Now they want a 3-tier. They're talking about a 3-tier absentee voter. And then absentee voting, they want your voter pin on it. Anybody know what your voter pin is? Nope. And I can't cure it. If it comes to me, I can't call and say, what's your voter pin? And the only way you're going to know your voter pin is on your voter registration card. I don't keep mine in my billfold. All you need is your driver's license to go to the polls. Just saying. And then they're talking about having the cities have, there's a bill in there now, they're considering them having a primary election and then a regular election, so they would have 2 elections.
For a nonpartisan position.
Yeah, and they would be
They are
partisan.
partisan.
Then they would be partisan.
I think we need to go the other way.
I sent an email out to all my cities and all my cities clerks and the school and said, you need to fight this because you do not want 2 elections. It's hard enough finding people to run. Yeah, it's ridiculous. To add an expense that they don't, plus you're limiting their.
How are they gonna pay for it?
I don't know. That's a good question. When you're limiting their.
It's like, there's no extra money in Harris, there's no extra money, no cheating, there's no extra money, there's no extra money in
Well, those
Zilli.
would be supplemental where the expenses.
Yeah, but then,
Cities
but
have
the
that,
cities, they don't have supplemental, it'll come out of their general fund. It'll come out of their general fund. You know, you're talking 1,000, I don't know, it's just.
Thousands.
If you have a certain population, maybe, but 4 of our 5 cities are under 1,000, under 750 is ridiculous. I don't know what they're doing down there. Don't know. But I told them to keep on board and to talk to their legislator that you do not want this. So I thought maybe it would come more merit coming from them instead of me. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Unfunded mandate.
So I'm afraid if I have to have a voter pin, I might have to send out voter registration cards. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do you get one of those? When would I have gotten a voter?
The only time you get one is if you made a change of address. You don't get one for a party affiliation. But in 2022, I had to send out, everybody got a voter registration card because of the polling place changes. So everybody got one. Yeah. But, no one keeps those. You should have gotten 2, one in the primary, one in the general, because I had to mail them out.
If I did, they both got 2 copies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or Pony Express didn't get them delivered, or something like that.
That's a frustrating part of all this. ISAC is against all of it, but, I don't know. I don't know. So that's just some scenarios. And I'm gonna see if you guys know what this is what has to be published in the paper for that first public hearing. Do you have any idea where that 272, 490? Joe Blow off the street will have no idea what that is. None. And what it is that for this first column, the 272, 490, you take $100,000 valuation, then you have to know what the rollback is for this year and reduce that by 100,000. And you take that times the current levy to get your 272 and 490. Who's going to know that? Nobody on the street's gonna know any of that.
But that reflects the rollback and the levy calculations.
It does,
If you have
but,
$100,000 worth of valuation,
yes,
that's
yes.
what you'll pay on that.
But who's gonna know the rollback?
Yeah.
So the $100,000 for this year would be $54,650 times your levy. No one's gonna know that. I didn't even know. I was trying to 10-key and I
Right, but the
couldn't come up with
272
it.
and 490 is on 100,000 evaluation.
It's on the rollback. You have to take the rollback time 100,000 to come up, and when you use the current levy rate to come up with 272.
Right, but you're gonna see what your property's valued at, 492,000 or whatever, that's the valuation. So for every 100,000 of that, you're gonna pay 272 or
A
490.
little bit of that, about every 54,650 of that, yeah.
I know the rollback
Yeah,
gets applied to
yeah,
that, but that's
yeah.
what's reflected in these
Yeah,
272
but no one's
and
gonna know
490.
that. I mean, I could not figure it out. I had to ask Kiri. I didn't know. Then the middle column is if you use the same dollar amount as you use this current year times the current valuation, you come up with that 6.11, and then for 24-25, that 4.87956, that's the general basic, general supplemental, and the EMS levy included in that. So I guess the direction I need to know from the board is what you want to do with the fund balance.
I said it earlier, I wanna leave it till we know what the whole deal is with.
I think we go down, we're not losing our levy ability or capacity. It doesn't harm us in the new limitation approach. And I guess I understand that there's a concern, the jail project could have additional needs, but we don't know that yet. They've already approved to have their taxes go up on a $5 million borrowing, to then additionally hold their taxes higher because they might need it. I guess I think the family should be able to buy pizza one night versus paying because it might be necessary someday. But
Everything I've ever built came in over budget.
I hope this sheet makes sense to you. I was trying to do it make sense. I didn't want to make changes in the system because that's a lot of work and error. I'm trying to prevent that.
I know that concern, and it's very likely impossible, but to tax our citizens because we might need it, I don't
It's
think.
pretty hard to take it off and then put it back on again next year, if we need the money.
It's
I'd rather
maybe
leave
not
it now.
preferable, but it's not hard.
I'd rather leave it now and then drop it next year if we don't need it.
What are we required to have in reserves for the county?
25% of the
There's
expenditures.
no hard requirement,
No,
but
no
it's a
hard
general
requirement, but it's
practice.
a general practice, and we're
I think
over
we've
that.
been riding way over that for far too long. I don't know why we're not.
Extra jail expenses.
Well, that ending fund balance of 1,773,743, that's all in reserves. So that's our fund balance. That's what we could use for.
And maybe
The
not
jail.
know as much.
I think when I figured it out, 25% is a rule of thumb, or like 700,000.
Well, that's a decent idea, but borrowing, every property tax owner is gonna pay towards that regardless of TIF status and this and that, whereas this is being borne by those that aren't in a TIF project when we're levying general fund or dollars. I think that's identifying $133,000 that we don't show a proven need for. I understand concern that there might be a need for this jail project, but I can't look someone in the eye and say it needs to be there, because I mean, we've got a fairly healthy contingency fund, and John identified it's beyond what he factored into the cost estimate, so
So you put the 80 cents.
I'd be crazy and probably go further, but that's gonna give our auditor even further heartburn than I already give her. And sleepless nights and. No, I don't like to go down and then go back up, but I'd much rather go up to where we need to be when we need to be there than just keep it where it's at because, well, you've already been paying it, so why don't we get it?
I'm
I
tired of
just,
paying taxes, so I saw my tax bill for this year. It needs to go
This
down.
morning.
Thank you for saying that. I've carried it around for a week. I need to go across the hall before I leave.
You can pay mine while you're open.
Check's written already.
I tried talking Barb into paying mine, but she wouldn't. My thought is to leave it.
I'd like to see it go down, and then if we need to tackle the reserve money, since we're over that, I mean, there's a lot of reserve money floating around here that needs to be spent. Like, I don't understand still doing that mess over at the jail and not getting that down to a more manageable level. It's still taxing the same rate every year while that continues to go up. It's the same discussion we're having here about this.
Exactly.
I don't wanna pay any more than even if I bought, they need to start burning up their money.
I'm in favor of it anyway. Okay, thank you.
Well, I guess it's still too plain in my mind when I came on this board, we had no reserve.
And that's possible, I'm not saying it isn't, but
Well, we didn't have it that time.
Sounds like poor management.
Valuation just went away,
Valuation
and it can
and
do that
then-
again. I
yeah.
mean, we've been riding nice increases in valuations, and that could go away in a heartbeat.
And a restriction on us back then too, that caused a lot of problems.
Well, I know other surrounding counties cut every department out of their budgets. And they're gonna leave their levy rate the same, but then they're gonna shove all that money into reserves.
I don't know if I say this right, but every bit of this is supplemental eligible.
What do you mean?
What we're looking at reducing are items being funded in the general fund that could be funded by the supplemental.
Yeah, what we're paying out of general supplemental, we could put back into general basic if we had
Which is
to.
basically
But that's
what we're
why,
talking about
yeah,
here,
so
right?
instead of doing
Right.
that, we're just lowering the levy and then transferring in instead of
Right,
making all those
right.
changes. Is that what you're trying to
Right.
tell me? Okay.
So those needed items are not being cut, they're just being funded differently. And that supplemental funding source is going to be available to us, even with valuation decreases. Potential valuation decrease. So other than a reserve balance that I think is unreasonably high percentage-wise, I think it's reasonable to deal with those issues when they present themselves rather than continue to carry that reserve balance so high.
I don't know what item, I don't know what 75 cents would be. I'm gonna check that out.
So if I look at your two packets here, did I recall correctly, the first one is at the dollar,
Yes.
so it brings our general basic to 60.13% ending fund balance. The 20-cent reduction only brings us down to 59.98, so I don't think it's drastic or unreasonable in that respect.
Yeah, I didn't make any changes on the sheet at all. So the ending fund balance for general basic is 277,000 with a dollar per thousand levy. It might have changed, the fund balance might have changed a little bit because of the changes to the sheriff's budget, the jail budget. I did not reduce anything. I just did it on this piece of paper, what it could be.
Your ending fund, 1772, okay, gotcha.
Just because of the changes with the jail budget.
Let's see.
I'm thinking 85 cent down. That's what I'm I'm always, let's make a deal.
Yeah, let's just say 60. Did you look at your property tax bill for this year?
Yes, I have.
Yikes.
Yes, I did. It's not near as bad here as it is in Jefferson County.
I'm basically just running everything I own from the county at this moment.
That 1.6 at 80 cents would be 55% ending fund balance. 5.48. $0.85 is 56.60. 61.
So would you like us to come to a consensus on one of those options?
I would, please, see, so I can know what direction the board wants me to go, or if you want me to go lower, I can figure what a lower is.
Anybody that wants to put something forward. Jason, you got anything?
That's enough.
We've got 1, 2, and 3 here on the page. Does anybody want to do one of those?
I'll make a motion for 85% tax levy.
85%.
Yeah.
As much as I disagree with it, I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
All right.
Motion carries.
You said I too?
I said no.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, that's what I meant to
I
say.
said I didn't know.
Okay, sorry. I got this right.
The public hearing date for the property tax levy for 2025. Date, you want mine for that?
Well, the first day that we can have it is March 26th. The mailers are supposed to go out by March 20, if you think that's enough time to have it on the 26th, or April 2nd. Those 2 dates are the only ones that I would suggest having.
We've already got to do that 26th.
We do, yep.
what do you guys wanna do?
What would you like to do?
26 is second.
Of April.
If you can get everything done by the 26th, I'd say the 26th.
Yeah, the only thing I would hold back is the flyers are going out March 20. So would March 26th be enough time? The board has to decide that if it's enough time for people to get their information to come. Probably no one's gonna come.
Requirement by the state.
The 25th is the first day you could have your first public hearing.
But for my window of time to get my information out, I'm within the window of having to send it out.
I have to have it to, everybody has to have it in the state on the 15th. I have to have it to my people that are the 20th is they have to have it mailed out on the 20th. And if the cities don't have their information in by the 15th, too bad, so sad. It's going out without their information in it. 'Cause that's a deadline, and they all know it, so. So, yeah, the first day you can have it is March 25th.
You did make a motion?
Yeah, she can have everything
March
done. I'd say
26th. And then
I'll support that.
at 8:45, I'm sorry, at 8:45 then?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So then on the 26th, and are you okay with starting the regular board meeting at 9 o'clock? Because it has to have its separate meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
Claims. Was that the fire department or was that for?
Yeah.
It was a controlled burn evidently, so.
Is that new office computer, is that a laptop or a tower?
I guess you'd call it tower, it's only about this big. And hers shop wraps. They don't come with CD-ROM drives or anything in them now, so they're just, they're not that big.
Take a motion on claims.
make a motion for approval.
Or
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'll get you guys' opinion. I plan to take the county car to the Emmitsburg meeting for regional mental health. Care Connections meeting this afternoon. Learned I have a nephew wrestling in Spencer at about 4:30, so pretty much on the way back. I thought I'd stop. Seems unreasonable to me to have the county car parked there, even though I'm really not going out of the way. I'm not making thoughts, preferences, I just figured I'd use my personal vehicle and then mileage, but I do think it's more cost effective to use the county car. I just don't want to leave room for questioning or make it look bad or, so.
I'll let you use your judgment, it doesn't bother me either way. Sorry.
Anybody else? Not, I take a motion.
I'll make that one. I'll support.
All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same